Growing up in the early 2000s, when you turned on Nickelodeon and you saw SpongeBob playing, you knew you were in for a treat. If you were like me, you probably had almost every episode memorized. And I'm generally not a sensitive guy, but when Gary ran away, I cried real tears. In today's video, we're going to be ranking SpongeBob's most nostalgic episodes. I could cover all of seasons 1, 2, and 3 because they are genuinely all amazing. But for today's list, we have slimmed it down to 12 of my favorite episodes. Whether you're taking your fish for a walk, eating glue, or milking a bee, let's get straight into the ranking. If you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe. It's the best way to support what I do here. Science has proven that subscribing will make you look 40 years younger. We also have a Discord server, and that link is below. SpongeBob and the Zoo Pals theme song are two things that my hippocampus will never forget. I fondly remember coming home from school, grabbing a Trix yogurt, and turning on some SpongeBob. I think a good 50% of my brain is still filled with SpongeBob quotes. I can remember all the words to the Fun song and the Campfire song, but I can't remember if I turned the oven off or not. Surprisingly, they still make SpongeBob episodes. The fall off in the middle of season 4 continuing into the present day has to be studied. They are still milking this franchise for every penny. When will they let SpongeBob have a hero's death? I'm super excited for today's ranking. Let me dust off the big box TV and warm up a kid cuisine, and let's dive right into this. Starting with the first half of the top ever rated episode, we have season 2's The Secret Box. Patrick has a secret box, and he won't show SpongeBob what's inside. Patrick is hyping the secret box up more than people who still hype up eating at Chili's. Man, I wish I could be as dumb as Patrick. Every day would be a new adventure. Unfortunately, I have seen one too many seasons of Rick and Morty, elevating my IQ far past Patrick's. Using someone's own arm here to point at them in disgrace is an absolutely new level of disrespect. SpongeBob can't sleep. He's stuck thinking about the contents of that box. So SpongeBob decides to commit some light breaking and entering to solve the mystery of the box. The section where SpongeBob is trying to tiptoe over to the box is drawn out, but I love how every step is a super loud sound effect. Eventually, Patrick wakes up, not believing SpongeBob would be the one to steal from him, thinking he is the clam burglar. But SpongeBob has the BFF ring, betraying Patrick's trust and friendship. Man, SpongeBob is a really crap friend. Sensing the end of the episode approaching, Patrick lets him look in, and it turns out just to be a string. SpongeBob is super relieved when he remembers Patrick isn't nefarious. He just has the IQ of a used napkin. The issue is SpongeBob didn't pull the string in the box though, revealing Patrick did have an embarrassing picture of him from the Christmas party. This episode's solid. It didn't hit super hard in the nostalgia, but it was a nice smooth introduction back into classic SpongeBob. It's starting at the top of the list, but I have a feeling it won't hold that spot for long. Our next episode is the second 15-minute segment of the previous one, Band Geeks. Squidward and Squilliam Fancy-Son's rivalry is on full display in this one. Squilliam, looking like Anthony Davis, tells Squidward that his band can't play the Bubble Bowl. Squidward then tells Squilliam that his non-existent band will instead play the Bubble Bowl for them. Squidward recruits all of the town folks, leading to one of the greatest scenes to ever grace our TV screens.
No.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
This might be a top 10 SpongeBob quote of all time. Patrick coming back in after Sandy beats him up is hilarious, even after all these years.
Whoever's the owner of the white sedan, you left your lights on.
Also, rest in peace to the brave flag twirlers who twirled too close to the sun. The band sounds horrible, and they're turning on each other, leading to a brawl between the entire band. Patrick not learning his lesson the first time and kicking Sandy here legitimately made me laugh out loud. SpongeBob then rallies the band together, right after Squidward leaves. Man, this episode has so many memorable moments. Squidward's band plays at a college football game by the looks of it. This real life section was always a bit weird, but the band absolutely kills it in possibly one of the greatest TV show musical performances ever. I still get butterflies in my stomach to this day listening to this great performance. I can't believe kids listen to Cardi B when they could just listen to Sweet Victory on loop. Is this what nostalgia feels like? This episode was fantastic. So many moments that are commonly referenced 25 years later after this episode was released. This episode is funny, tells a great story, and had an amazing bone-chilling song to cap it off. This is going at the top of the list. It's going to be tough to beat, but with plenty of heaters coming up, anything is possible. We're heading down to season 1 with the episode F.U.N. This is the lowest rated episode of the day. Plankton is attacking the Krusty Krab, attempting to steal the Krabby Patty formula, and this time he was successful. You know what? For once I'm rooting for the little guy. It's nice to support small businesses. And Plankton always gets the short end of the stick.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Is this what my life has become? Making fun of a Plankton in a 25-year-old cartoon? SpongeBob eventually catches him in a chase scene with some fun visuals. Plankton then gives up on stealing the Krabby Patty after SpongeBob tortures him with some fun. Why doesn't Plankton just come back at night to steal the formula? He could easily just walk under the door while they are closed. SpongeBob wants to befriend Plankton to help melt his cold, icy heart. Karen, Plankton's computer wife, contains some common sense, telling Plankton to get close to SpongeBob and then steal the formula when the time's right. SpongeBob tries to teach Plankton the meaning of fun with a classic song. Mr. Krab sees them having fun and becoming friends. Mr. Krab senses something is amuck, seeing Plankton ring chasing harder than Kevin Durant did his entire career. At the movies, Bubble Bass and his massive booty cheeks squish Plankton. Man, why'd they have to animate them like that?
Lord have mercy.
Bubble Bass might need a permit for that thing. Turns out Plankton did steal a Krabby Patty, breaking SpongeBob's heart. The two go through a rough breakup, before Plankton realizes he is evil at heart. Plankton's escape is foiled, proving that nobody can truly ever change. This episode was not as good as I remember it to be. Maybe the song is what all the nostalgia is in. For now, this one's going at the bottom of the list. Not many redeeming qualities outside of the song that will now be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Our first trip to season 3 brings us to the camping episode. I have fond memories of this one. I've referenced it in a few past videos already. Let's see if it really holds up. Squidward is excited that SpongeBob and Patrick are gone camping for the weekend. Well, it turns out they're only a mere 10 feet from their homes. Squidward thinks SpongeBob calls him soft and does some extreme mental gymnastics and ends up joining the camping trip. Hey, the write that down gif comes from this episode. One of the classic gifs that have stood the test of time. No way they're just one-thirding those marshmallows without roasting them to a burnt crisp over the fire. A lot of people like them toasted golden brown, but they're really best if you just burn them to an absolute crisp. Oh wait, never mind, Patrick does it right here. Patrick blowing the molten marshmallows at Squidward is a fun bit. The campfire song might be the number 2 best song in SpongeBob behind the Bubble Bowl song. Squidward playing his clarinet badly can attract sea bears, and sea bears' natural prey is flashlights. I didn't know that.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well, maybe it is stupid, but it's also dumb.
Squidward gets caught lacking doing everything in his power to attract a sea bear. SpongeBob and Patrick meanwhile sit in the anti-sea bear defense circle, while Squidward gets mauled by the sea bear. The sea bear ends up putting Squidward in a worse condition than someone who's lived in Ohio for over a week. Squidward running attracting the sea bear again was also very funny.
They hate limping more than running!
Well, I guess I'll just have...
The sea bear mauls him for the following: limping, crawling, drawing an oval, and because he just doesn't like him. It kinda seems to me like the sea bear doesn't need much of a reason to go out and ruin your day. The sea bear avoids the circle like most anime fans avoid showering. And by the end of the episode, a sea rhinoceros shows up, proving that this neighborhood that they live in is super dangerous. This episode is fantastic. It really stands the test of time. I loved all the bits and it was a fun ride. Nostalgia was at a good high level for this one. I'm gonna place it below Band Geeks, in a cool second place. Really fun episode. We're sticking around season 3 with Club SpongeBob. I like how they have a custom title card for every episode. It's a really nice touch. SpongeBob and Patrick have a new clubhouse atop of a giant vine. They're talking like I talk to my newborn in this scene.
Squidward's going to work.
Squidward laughing at his own jokes reminds me a lot of myself. It's really a sad day when I realize I've become a Squidward rather than a SpongeBob. Squidward forces himself into the club window when Patrick and SpongeBob tell him he will literally not fit into their club. Squidward ends up catapulting the clubhouse deep into a dense kelp forest where they're lost and trapped. I love Squidward's meta joke right here.
Oh, why must every 11 minutes of my life be filled with misery? Why?
SpongeBob unveils the leader of the club is actually a magic conch. Squidward denounces it, leading to the magic conch to spite Squidward. Worse than every other WNBA player hates on Caitlin Clark just for being better than them. Squidward cooking up some fried bugs right here still looks more appetizing than a McDonald's fish fillet. Fortunately for SpongeBob and Patrick, the magic conch delivers them a feast from the heavens. The magic conch won't allow Squidward any of the feast. If I'm Squidward right here, I'm taking that magic conch, I'm throwing it deep into the kelp forest, and I'm helping myself to this food. No dollar store magic 8-ball binky winky bullshit is gonna cause me to starve to death. A park ranger looking fellow finds them in the forest, and it's looking like everyone will be okay. Until it turns out this guy is also a magic conch nut job. There isn't really a resolution for this episode, it just ends with Squidward snapping and finally praising the magic conch. This episode is very middle of the road for me. Maybe it's because it finally made me realize I relate more to Squidward than any of the other characters. Some great memeable moments from this one. I'm putting it right above the secret box. Smack in the middle of the rankings so far today. Staying in season 3, we have both parts of an episode, starting with Wet Painters. As I go through the list of episodes, there are so many great ones, it's an impossible task to cut this down to just a group of episodes. Thankfully, I asked the channel members to help me compile the list. So if you don't like it, you know who to verbally attack. The Krusty Krab is having a slow day. So Mr. Krabs tasked SpongeBob and Patrick with painting the inside of his house. This is like blindly trusting one of my 3 cats to fully file my yearly taxes. Hey, the Careful SpongeBob meme was born from this episode. Patrick smoking the paint can with a battle axe after SpongeBob is carefully opening his is super funny. I also like how they laid down some tarps, but opened the paint cans on the floor instead. Patrick making another giant paint bubble was hilarious here. The bubbles end up bursting and perfectly paints everything in the house, except for Mr. Krabs' first ever dollar. A speck of paint lands on the dollar. After trying and failing to clean the dollar, Patrick has a brilliant idea. Why doesn't he just replace it with another dollar? Patrick's 2 brain cells are usually fighting for 3rd place, but here he actually has a solid idea. That is until Patrick decides to spend that dollar on a candy bar at the vending machine.
Patrick, no! Patrick, no! Why did you put it? No! Grab it, Pat! Grab it! Hurry! Hurry! No!
I love how Mr. Krabs loves money so much that he has a fully functional and stocked vending machine in his house. I was cracking up so hard when Patrick was trying to insert it into the vending machine. They did such an amazing job painting, and in a timely fashion, that I think Mr. Krabs should just overlook their mistake. Mr. Krabs finds the dollar and licks it to clean it, telling them that the paint actually comes off with saliva and that he just wanted to mess with them, leading him to laughing hard and spitting all over his freshly painted walls, causing the paint to leak off. I didn't remember this episode being so good, but this one's a riot. The jokes hit you one after another, it's really unrelenting. I actually laughed pretty hard at some of the bits. It doesn't really tell much of a story or have a meaning, but man, it's a good episode. One of my favorites so far. You know what? I'm gonna do it. This one's going at the top of the list, above Band Geeks. The second half of the Wet Painters episode is the Krusty Krab training video. Let's see if it can hold its own weight. I don't know why, but child me always thought that this was the first episode of the series. Wait, the voiceover says after the war? Is Mr. Krabs a war veteran? What war did he fight in? Oh, he was in the Navy. Oh, there even is an episode about this storyline later. Old Armor Abs Krabs, kind of a sick nickname if you ask me. This episode is an educational video on the Krusty Krab. Seems like something that they would show a new employee. The Squidward slander is uncalled for, man. He's just trying to work his dead-end job. Let him have his piece. Oh, this is the episode where poop comes from. Me and my Discord usually just call it a brozo.
You what?
Why does the Krabby Patty they show look so unappetizing? It seems like this episode is training SpongeBob, but he's been working there for 3 seasons, right? There are a lot of steps and considerations in this job where Mr. Krabs is likely just paying you below minimum wage. Through this ranking, it's becoming clear to me that Patrick is the best character in this show by far. I never really considered it before the ranking, but he carries the show at points.
I'll have an,
Patrick trying to order the only thing on the menu and failing at it is the first noticeably good bit in this episode. Plankton's introduced briefly, and Squidward uses poop, the acronym, not the object, I guess, to help Patrick decide what he wants to order. This episode ends as we're about to learn the secret to the Krabby Patty formula. I always thought this was like a bug in the episode where it abruptly cuts, but no, it's just a gag. This confused the hell out of me when I was a kid. I almost dropped my Scooby-Doo fruit snacks out of pure frustration as to why I couldn't know the formula. If I could go back in time, one of the things I would do is enjoy a blue Scooby-Doo fruit snack one last time. You never realize when the last time you ate a blue Scooby-Doo fruit snack was, but I miss it every day. This episode has some moments that are memorable, like poop and maximum overdrive, but overall this one was a complete miss for me. None of the jokes really landed, and it's such a confusing time for this episode to release in season 3. It confused 8-year-old me, and it still confuses 27-year-old me. Maybe I need to watch more Rick and Morty to understand. I'm placing this one at the bottom of the list. Weird that the top spot and the bottom spot are coming from the same 30-minute segment. Bouncing back to season 1, we have an episode I am confident everyone in the world has seen at least once. Pizza delivery. Someone calls into the Krusty Krab and orders a pizza, not realizing they have only ever sold Krabby Patties. Mr. Krab, seeing the potential profits, sends his only 2 employees out to deliver said pizza. Is the Krusty Krab's men's bathroom labeled heads? Squidward forces SpongeBob, an unlicensed half-man, half-sponge, to drive. SpongeBob panics, leading to them backing up until they're lost and out of gas. Weirdly, the driver's side is on the right, meaning that Bikini Bottom is not in North American waters. These two walking while SpongeBob sings about the Krusty Krab pizza is so iconic. After being swept up in a windstorm, SpongeBob knows where civilization is because the moss on a rock always points toward civilization. SpongeBob giving better advice here than Bear Grylls when he drank his own urine. And just in case anyone was wondering, moss does not point to civilization. So when you're lost delivering for Domino's, do not blindly trust mossy rocks. SpongeBob continues to sing about the Krusty Krab pizza, even as they march into nothingness. Squidward is starving and wants to eat the pizza, but SpongeBob won't betray the customer. Hey yo, why are they looking at me like that? Also, mushrooms on pizza is a bottom tier topping option. Pepperoni is number 1. SpongeBob finds a rock that he can ride just like the pioneers did, leading to an iconic line.
Just a stupid boulder.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock.
They finally deliver the pizza, only to realize the customer also ordered a drink. He yells at SpongeBob, making him cry. And Squidward, with some great character development, decides the customer is going to eat this pizza one way or another. It's hilarious and ironic that SpongeBob can drive a rock, but not a boat car thingy. Also, in a funny twist, this house that they delivered to was on the same street as the Krusty Krab. This episode is so nostalgic. I feel like a kid again watching it. It's not the most funny episode, but it's an entertaining ride. Squidward sticking up for SpongeBob in the end is also some nice character development. I really like this one. I'm gonna put it below the camping episode. Very solid. Next we have the season 3 episode, No Weenies Allowed. Finally an episode with Sandy. SpongeBob and Sandy have been playing karate, trying to get the best of one another. The 3-day potato salad guy is funny here.
Way to go, buddy. It took us 3 days to make that potato salad. 3 days!
Sandy is destroying SpongeBob worse than any time the New York Jets try to play a game of football. SpongeBob and Sandy try to get into the salty spittoon. Sandy is definitely tough enough, but SpongeBob isn't tough enough to make it through the door. Where SpongeBob actually belongs is at Super Weenie Hut Jr.'s. This fish, who is a hot dog, is also holding a hot dog. I don't know what the issue is. Weenie Hut Jr. seems like a great vibe. Wait, did we just find a technicality for Brozo here?
I saw that guy. He wasn't bald. He had a shaved head. Shaved. That's a hairdo. Case closed.
Patrick showing up at Weenie Hut Jr.'s was a great bit. The talking weenie robot bartender, what has my life come to, man? Suggests that they stage a fight. This is an all-time classic line here.
I feel pretty sorry for the next guy who looks at me funny.
What about that guy?
SpongeBob calls Patrick Tubby, and Patrick was about to go Captain Insano on him, but SpongeBob reminds him of their deal. Patrick proceeds to beat himself up. Wait, why do I always gotta look at butt cheeks in these ranking videos? SpongeBob is finally allowed in the salty spittoon, but upon entrance, he slips on an ice cube and ends up going to the hospital. Man, Sandy is a terrible friend. She ditched SpongeBob when he couldn't get into the club and left him for the entire episode. This is a very fun episode. I like the story and all the bits hit pretty well. We have a few classic lines that people still quote today. I'm gonna rank this episode above Pizza Delivery. A lot of solid episodes stringing together here. Our last video in season 2 takes us to the graveyard shift. Hopefully this one isn't as scary as I remember it to be. The hash-slinging slasher can keep a grown man up at night. A singular customer tries to go to the Krusty Krab after they are closed, leading to Mr. Krabs keeping the restaurant open 24 hours a day. I never worked in fast food, but I can imagine the pure hatred for a customer who comes in right at closing time. SpongeBob is overly excited to be working at night, until he realizes someone has to take the trash out at night. Hey, SpongeBob and I take the trash out similarly. Hey, I don't know what lurks out there. It could be a stray cat or a possum or something out there. Squidward then tells SpongeBob the story of the hash-slinging slasher. This story is scarier than The Exorcist, I assume. I don't know. I don't watch scary movies, because they're scary. I love how obviously made up this story is, but SpongeBob just buys it. This guy interrupting the story is golden here.
Oh. Next.
Dude, can I have some ketchup?
Oh, here you go. Next.
Man, Squidward's story takes up like 50% of this episode. Another SpongeBob quote that I say way too frequently.
Who wants a Krabby Patty at 3 in the morning?
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Suddenly, all the signs of the hash-slinging slasher are coming to life. The lights flicker enough to give me a seizure. The phone rings and nobody answers. And the ghost bus shows up. The hash-slinging slasher shows up and is ominously staring at them across the street. After some very tense buildup, it turns out it's just some kid who wants to apply for a job. The creepiest part of this episode is this Nosferatu guy who keeps flickering the lights. This is the part that really got to me as a kid. What the heck is that thing? This episode's super solid. Very memorable. It wasn't all too funny, but it took a different avenue, being a more scary and creepy episode, and I think it pulled it off really well. This episode has a lot of quote-worthy moments. I'm gonna put it below Band Geeks. These last 3 episodes have been very good, but cracking that top 2 is a mighty difficult task. Let's see if any of the last 2 episodes can do it. We're jumping back to season 3 with the final 2 episodes on today's video. First, we have an all-time classic, Chocolate with Nuts. SpongeBob and Patrick decide to become entrepreneurs to get rich by reselling store-bought chocolate bars. This is only slightly better than those guys who used to go door-to-door selling vacuum cleaners. The first guy they try to sell chocolate to is a psychopath, chasing them away. The second guy scams them into buying chocolate bar holder bags. And the third guy is also just the second guy again, who scams them one more time into buying larger candy holding bags for their candy bags. Man, SpongeBob and Patrick are worse at doing business than the New York Giants. Imagine letting the best running back in the league walk away to a division rival. The chocolate sales aren't going well, so they decide they have to be nicer.
Hello?
I love you.
I think you laid it on a teensy bit thick there, old pal.
Patrick couldn't sell Pepto-Bismol even if he was standing outside of a Taco Bell. This lady's older mom has creeped me out for years. SpongeBob and Patrick eventually decide to lie to customers to sell chocolate bars, which actually works, proving that being a slime ball is profitable. That is until they run into a man in pretty bad shape, with glass bones and paper skin. This guy is more injury prone than Zion Williamson and Anthony Rendon combined. If you understood both parts of that joke, just know that I appreciate you. They end up buying all this guy's chocolate bars, and it turns out he was the same con man who sold them all those bags. Finally, the deranged chocolate lunatic has caught up to them. It turns out he just wanted to buy all their inventory. SpongeBob and Patrick are rich now, and they decide to spend all their hard-earned money on renting out an entire fancy restaurant. This episode feels like classic SpongeBob, a fun adventure with good bits throughout. I appreciate the con man as a recurring theme in the episode. Squidward's advice on becoming entrepreneurs comes back to bite him in the end is good as well. I'm going to put this one below the camping episode. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but a clear line in greatness has been drawn in the Bikini Bottom Sands. The second half of the previous episode rolls into another good one, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5. It's the first appearance in today's video for Bikini Bottom's local superheroes. Like myself, they are maybe a bit past their primes as heroes. Mermaid Man orders a pipsqueak patty for Barnacle Boy. Despite being called a boy, he is 68 years old. He gets upset about the disrespect, changing his name to Barnacle Man. Barnacle Boy then decides he will get more respect as a villain rather than a hero, leading him to joining some of Bikini Bottom's biggest villains, going on a rampage against the city. Mermaid Man, being the only hero, seems very incapable of stopping the new evil group. Mermaid Man probably has those slow old man peas, so there is no way that he can stop them. So Mermaid Man recruits SpongeBob and the gang to join his team with superpowered costumes. This is an all-time classic line here.
Wanna see me run to that mountain and back? You wanna see me do it again?
Man, I love these superhero themed episodes. This part with the chief is a bit, uncomfortable. 10-year-old me did not realize what a makeout reef was, but man, this part is a bit weird. The evil villains are just harassing teenagers. I don't know if this constitutes as evil, it's more just creepy. The intros of everyone into this fight scene is super cool. The evil squad is actually afraid until the heroes just defeat themselves. Sandy should be a competent hero since she's a great fighter, but she gets hit by a car, the common squirrel's natural enemy. Since defeated, Mermaid Man must give in to Barnacle Man's demands, leading Barnacle Man to reunite with his old partner, after they begin to respect each other. They leave the supervillains and go back to the Krusty Krab for a full-size adult Krabby Patty. It's a happy ending for everyone, Even the guy who was making out with his pillow, and the chief who was making out with himself. A lot of references to making out in this episode. This is a fun episode. Not as great as some of the past ones. It has a few memorable moments and some good sections. I didn't really love this one as much as some of the rest, but it's pretty solid. I'm ranking it below the secret box, towards the bottom of the list. As I look through the list of SpongeBob episodes, any episode from seasons 1 through 3 could have made this list. We missed some great ones, like the Strangler, the colorful patties, and the one where SpongeBob gets stranded in Cleveland. Be sure to let me know your favorite episode that I didn't cover today in the comments below. The worst of the worst 12 episodes we watched today was the Krusty Krab training video. Meanwhile, the best of the best, drumroll please, was Wet Painters, in a surprising upset over Band Geeks. If you want to take a trip down memory lane, I suggest watching both of these episodes. If you want to see more videos like this, drop any ideas or suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, please be sure to subscribe. It helps me keep the lights on here. If you want to join our growing community, a link to the Discord is in the description. I want to give a huge shout out to our channel members. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thanks for watching.